Hello everybody, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life. Welcome back to Loving Your Scraps with Daisy and Christy. This is the series where we are going through our scrap bins or bags, however we have them sorted, and just trying to get some of them used up. So today I didn't have a plan. I had gone through the few bits that I had done live with you for my very first episode, and now this is what I do. I go through my bag, I try and find a few pieces that work together, and then I just keep adding until I feel like I have a sufficient amount of scraps to work with in order to create a layout. Now, I do find that I tend to gravitate towards the black and the teals with a pop of pink when it comes to scraps. I think that's because it's the color scheme I have worked with since I started scrapbooking continuously. I mean, I've been scrapbooking since I was little, but really my scrapbooking career, I guess you could call it, was back in 2013. So I have been scrapbooking these colors since then. So it's my comfort zone. And scraps sometimes can be tricky. And so I feel like that's where I go all the time. Now, obviously, once I get through all of the black and the teal scraps, I'm going to have to go somewhere else. So we will see what happens as I go through it, because yes, I am creating new things and adding new things to my scrap pile, but the goal is to use my older scraps first, if that makes sense. So they are being added to the bag, but I'm trying to keep them at the top so that I remember not to grab at those first. The other thing I find with scraps is I really like to try to almost keep them the size that they are, unless I'm trying to do something specific. So like that piece of black and white pattern paper there. And I honestly, guys, I have no idea where any of these pattern papers have come from, with the exception of that one teal with the white polka dot that is a Dear Lizzie. But other than that, I really don't know. I think the heart one might be an Amy Tan, and I'm assuming that the wood veneer one is probably crepe paper. But what line that is, I don't know. So I do try, like I said, keep them the same size and then work around it. So what I ended up doing is grabbing another piece here. Now this I know is Dear Lizzie, and I had saved that piece because I wanted to use the mermaids. But once I figured out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to lay it out, okay, sorry, I had to stop to say good morning to my oldest there. So yes, I used this piece of pink pattern paper to lay it down, and then I am using that other piece there, putting the black and white in between the two to cover the difference. Now you saw I gutted the paper. I did that because I've been using a lot of my silhouette lately, and I only have it's a portrait, so you can't use a full 12 by 12 piece of pattern paper. And I do tend to cut smaller cut files. So I like to keep those little bits there so I have something to cut with without wasting a brand new piece of pattern paper of cardstock. So that is why I went ahead and did that. And then for this particular one, I'm also going to use it to cut my frames out, because I don't know what photos I want to use. I just have an idea that I'm going to do a 4x6 and probably a 4x4 was my assumption. And I thought I would look through my photos and find something. And that's exactly what I did. I really liked creating this way. I create in so many different ways. There are times where I have a photo in mind, and so I know exactly what I'm using and I'll go from there. And there's times I don't, and I do something like this where I make a spot for it so I know kind of what I'm looking for, and then just find my photos and finish it off. And that's what you're going to see here. I wanted another pop of teal, so you can see I'm using that is from scraps too. I had that in my scrap bin and it worked perfectly. Found my two photos. I'm going to use photos taken from once I got my kitchen pretty much set up the way I liked it once we moved. And I also found this. Now I know this is from One Canoe 2. I think the very first collection they had. I think so. And I love these florals, and I have been hoarding them, and I just fussy cut them out here and there. And this is going to be an example of me gonna fussy cut a few of them out to help bring in some softness, because now that I know my photos are about my kitchen, and that's a little bit, not that it's a girly subject, but it's something about me, and so I can make it girly. And so I'm going to add the flowers here and there, and then to help freshen it. So I've got everything down. I've used all my scraps. So happy. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of scrap paper. That's pretty awesome to get out of my stash. I'm now going to go ahead and bring in some new to me. Now that they're not always new, I am using that Cocoa Vanilla Studio. I don't think that's a new collection by any means, but I just recently got it from Scrapbook Your Joy, so it's new to me. And I'm going to use a couple pieces and work with it. I work with the frames a little bit and try to make some pieces work. And then I'm also going to be using the Crepe Paper Fresh Bouquet. And this really helps. I think this is probably where most people's comfort zone would be when creating with scraps, is you use your scrap paper and then bring in elements of new stuff with your embellishments, or vice versa. Use brand new paper, but bring in embellishments that are older, because your embellishments can be considered scraps. If you've gone through an embellishment pack and now the rest of it's just going into your stash, well, those are your scrap embellishments. So don't think about scraps just as pattern paper. I'm having a morning full of visits. Nora now came through the door to say good morning, and she's in a super great mood because she slept. We got home from vacation yesterday afternoon, and she slept from about 2 until 7:30 probably, was up for a couple hours and then went back to sleep all night, woke up at 6. So yeah, she's in a great mood. It's just, she came to say hi too. So let's get back to my layout. So yes, I want to highlight my photos and highlight my plan for this by, like I said, using new embellishments. And it, like I said, either way works. Just it's a great way to use scraps. And of course I'm doing air quotes because of what I mentioned earlier. Scraps does not have to just mean paper. And so this is how I'm going to go about that. Now in the Fresh Bouquet collection, it has these gorgeous clear stickers in the sticker book sheet, and I love them. And one of them is of this little, I don't think she's a girl, she's a woman, because I think she looks a little bit like me when I didn't have my hair cut short. And so I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I'll get her added. I wanted to add the little house. And so I go ahead and use them. Now, here's my first mistake. I stuck the house down without putting it. I knew better. I should have put it on white. And now I don't use cardstock when I back my clear stickers. I just use like printer paper. I should have done that first, and I didn't. So I made my photo all gummy because I get my photos printed from my local like drugstore, and I use matte. I don't like gloss, so I use matte. So the second something sticks to it, it's pretty much stuck. Especially like cardboard stickers. I can't. Once it's there, it's there. Clear stickers seem to be a little bit easier, but now there's gunk on my photo, so I have to figure that all out. That was fun, and it's fine. But just note to self, Christy, next time put them on paper first. I should know that. And really, when I get clear stickers, I don't think I ever just put them right onto the cardstock or onto anything. I should just put them all on printer paper, keep that printer paper with the collection so I can see them. I probably use them better that way. So we'll see if I do that the next time I go around. All right, so I'm going to start gluing a few things down. Like I mentioned, these photos are of my kitchen. Now, we moved here. This is kind of the first time in. We lived in a basement suite before, like when Sean and I first started living together and we met, and it was awesome. But it was a basement suite. There's not much you can do. There wasn't a lot of wall space, and you were very limited to what you could really do to decorate. And then we moved, and my mother-in-law was living with us, and we shared, the kitchen was a common area. And so I did decorate a little bit, and it had a bit of my personal touch to it, but only half the kitchen, because she had a corner that was hers, and our styles were a little bit clashing just in the colors. So it was still mine, and I still took photos, and I've still documented it, but it was not mine, if that makes sense. So this is like the first kitchen that is mine to do with as I want. And Sean doesn't care. He very much is like, if it makes you happy, then go ahead. And so I got a new rug, plus one of those really comfy mats to stand on when you're cooking that has actually moved to the kitchen, but I love it. And so it's been so nice to just have my little personal touches. All right, everyone, that is my finished layout. Sorry, I jabbered on through the rest of the embellishment, but you can see what I did. Please make sure you head on over, check out Daisy's gorgeous layout for today, and I'll see everyone really soon. Bye.